were improperly agendized, but the item on the agenda has been properly noticed.
Thank you. And I understand we don't exactly have a director's report, but welcome, Mr. Schultz, and we're very happy to hear any opening remarks that you have or impressions of Mendocino County.
Well, it's a gorgeous county. I'm just happy to be here. Just really enjoying meeting all the staff, everything you all are working on. Mary Lynn Nash, everyone's been great to get me up to speed, and all the rest of the staff, and I'm excited to learn all about the county. I want to be an asset to you, and just look forward to working with you on all these projects that are coming. So thank you for picking me for the job.
And now is the time when we take matters from the public. The Planning Commission welcomes participation in commission meetings. This item is limited to matters under the jurisdiction of the commission that are not on the posted agenda and items which have not already been considered by the commission. No action will be taken. If there are any members of the public that have anything to say? Seeing none, we will close the public hearing. There is no consent calendar, so we will move to case R 2017-0004 and /MS 2017-0005. Eduardo.
Good morning, commissioners. Yeah, okay. Good morning. So this is an application. Oh, Eduardo Hernandez, planner, Mendocino County, planner 2, project planner of this project. So this project is a rezone and a minor subdivision for a 1.74 acre parcel located in northern Ukiah. The rezone is from rural residential to suburban residential, and then after that, it is also requested to subdivide it into two parcels of 1.01 and 0.73 acres, give or take. It is located 3.2 miles north of Ukiah Town Center, and it's located between Tolini Lane and Highway 101, located at 3571 Tolini Lane in Ukiah. The current status of the parcel, it's suburban residential lot that is the designation of per the general plan. That's the land use, suburban residential, and the zoning is rural residential. The requested reason will be to have it to have the zoning designation of this parcel in compliance with the general plan per the Ukiah Valley area plan. The whole lot is already developed with one residence. It has two residences right now. Both have its own septic system. Each one has a connection to the water district, and is fully serviced. The surroundings of the lot is residential and on all sides, and agricultural at the side of the subject property. It is proposed that a split of the parcel would leave each of the new parcels with one of the existing residences and its own septic system and the replacement septic. The project was referred out to the agencies, and there were no comments that would significantly prevent this project to being approved, according to our staff. It is consistent with the general plan and the zoning ordinance. After the parcel being rezoned into suburban residential, the subdivision of it will be in compliance with the Division of Land Regulations. We crafted this the initial study per CEQA, and we found it to be to have a less than significant impact. There were no areas of concerns. The only one would be the archaeological resources. This was seen through the Archaeological Commission. earlier in this year, and they recommended the recommendations. They conditioned the project to follow the recommendations per the archaeologist Ted Van Buren, and that is shown in the conditions of approval. As I said earlier, the proposed project is subject to the Ukiah Valley Area Plan, and it's consistent with its policies. And let's see, where's this? Okay. It is a staff recommendation for the Planning Commission to recommend approval of the both rezone and the minor subdivision to the Board of Supervisors, and also approve and adopt the negative declaration of it. You have any questions?
Eduardo, I did have a question.
Yeah.
Since the two proposed parcels are already developed, what is the applicant's goal with this rezone and subdivision? Is it to bring it in compliance with the UVAP, to prepare it for sale, or what else?
The owners, they didn't communicate any plans to sell the lots. It will be just like, since there's already two independent houses on the lot, they will just consolidate, having them everything separately. And yeah, that's all I know thus far. Today, the applicants, the applicant John Boardman and both the landowners, Shasta and John, they couldn't be here, nor the agent Ron France. However, I was let know that there are some here that should you have any questions that she can address.
Shasta is the mother.
Could you come up
please
to the microphone?
I'm Tony Paoli Bates.
Could you wait till you get to the microphone and then state and spell your name?
I'm Tony Paoli Bates, ToniPaoli -Bates, BATES. And I'm a local real estate broker. My family also owns property on the same street. My father-in-law owns an acre, and my grandparents' property is there as well. We originally applied for a split about 13, 14 years ago as a group, and we were told we had to wait for the general plan to go through. Then we had to wait something with a water board review, and so they're just now getting back around to doing the splits. We would all like to have our properties split. We each have an acre, so we'd like to have it split in a half acre. My grandparents' house, I said, was on one, and then my aunt's is on the other, and we would like to have our own separate properties. They were willed separately when my grandparents passed. And I believe that's the boardman's intent as well. Shasta has other children, and she's in her 80s, so when something happens to her, I think she'd like John and Joanna to get their piece, and the rest of the family to get the other piece. We have separate. We have two ways in, two ways out on off of Lake Mendocino Drive and also Parducci Road, so the impact for traffic isn't going to be an issue. There's already existing parcels that were grandfathered in that are way less than half-acre parcels, so what they're asking for is actually greater than what a lot of the neighbors have. So,
Thank you. Any other questions for the applicant? Go ahead. Wait.
Oh, hi. It isn't really for you. I don't think my question.
Okay.
Thank you, though. It's for staff. Since this is just a rezone, we don't put any conditions on this, but at some point with the ag land to the south, seems like we should have the language about the farm ordinance or notices for dust and so on, but that would be a development stage, I guess. But since they're already developed, that won't happen. Is there a place where we can do that?
So Mary Lynn Hunt, Planning and Building Services, yes, we can add that to the conditions of the staff or of the minor subdivision and put a note onto the parcel map. So, and I didn't look at this closely, so it is adjacent to ag, but we do, actually that is already on there. On Exhibit A, we do have under the ag policies, condition number 2, there is that disclaimer that has to be added. So that is on there already.
Great, I missed it.
Sorry,
Thank you.
I didn't see it.
That's right, I didn't either. Good.
Any other questions? parts were there.
Well, the subdivision seems perfectly logical, the rezoning and the subdivision both, so
I agree, and especially I understand why the family would want to each be paying their own taxes.
Sure. So this is actually in Supervisor District 5.
This would normally be a question for,
No,
oh, no, it's yours? Okay, go for it.
you brought it over back to the commission so we can.
Yes, well, I guess I should open a public hearing. Any members of the public who wish to speak? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing.
By resolution, the planning commission recommends that the board of supervisors adopt a negative declaration, grant the rezone, and approve the minor subdivision for the project as proposed by the applicant based on the facts and evidence contained in the record and subject to conditions of approval.
I'll second.
Commissioner Warner,
Yes.
Commissioner Hall,
Yes.
Commissioner Howell,
Yes.
Commissioner Purnell,
Yes.
Chair Holdcamp.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Moving on. Are there any matters from staff?
So, Mary Lynn Hunt, Planning and Building Services. We have a cannabis project that will be coming before the Planning Commission, probably the second meeting in October. It's for the overlay districts, and we're finishing up the reports this week, so you will be getting that I think it's October 18th, 19th. 18th, October 18th. So it'll be a project for your review and then a recommendation to the Board of Supervisors. I don't have anything other than that. If we have any questions on projects, a lot of times you guys have questions about projects you're seeing out in the community, and if any questions, I'm here.
Well, we have you here. I thought I would just ask about a status update for the mitigation funds for Oak Woodlands. We're going back to a project that was,
Yes.
gosh, 6 or 9 months ago, and we needed to establish where those funds would go.
We have not. I have no progress report for you on that.
Okay.
And honestly, I know Nash had one time talked about it. There was some talk about another agency doing some work on that, and that was after the fires, and I don't know where that's at this point.
Okay. I'm just curious about our next steps so that we can, so that Mendocino County can be in a position to keep that money locally since the state's fund is defunct. And I know that Mary Maida at the Resource Conservation District said that she would be, they're very well positioned to do that because they take Caltrans mitigation funds.
That's who we were waiting to hear from, because that's the name that popped up during the fires that was working on something.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
And I will check with Nash because he is now the fire recovery director, and he may have more information on that too.
Thank you.
Okay.
And if they need something different, there is also, the Hopland Field Station
Right.
Runs a fairly extensive Oaks program.
Thank you.
So just to let you know, there are a few other things that the commission has been a little bit interested in. There has been preliminary work on a inland groundwater study, and we would be very interested in a report on that at some time when our agenda is light, like today. That would be very nice to hear a presentation about the status of that and how it's going. And any other things that other commissioners would be interested?
I can't think of any right now, but I'm sure there are.
I guess with the overlay zone, we'll hear all about what the coastal commission's up to about that stuff.
That's only the inland area. It doesn't involve the coastal zone.
Oh, I thought the overlay zone was for the coastal area.
It does
that we
not.
Were...
It affects well, I shouldn't say it affects. One of the areas under consideration for overlay is the Mitchell Creek area, but it's everything outside the coastal zone, so it's on the inland side.
Oh, gotcha.
So.
Deputy County Counsel Matthew Kudrowski. The coastal zone we're starting to work on that this fiscal year for the ordinances within the coastal zone area for cannabis cultivation.
And has the Coastal Commission given any guidance, or is this everybody's just going to take a stab and see who salutes?
The guidance that I've seen in regards from the Coastal Commission, Deputy County Counsel Matthew Kudrowski, it focused mainly on facilities, to be honest. The cultivation, there was some guidance on there. My recollection of the 11 or 12 page document is it was mainly on facilities. We'll take all that into consideration as we start working on proposals to bring forward to the board and then back to the Planning Commission. We'll probably be seeking policy direction from the board before we go, have drafts ready for the Commission's review.
Okay. Sounds good. Are there any other matters from staff before we move on to matters from commission? I'm a little embarrassed. It's only 9:15.
Do we have a meeting the first meeting day of October? So we'll have two.
Which would be the 4th or something like that.
Right. Which would be the 4th.
Give me a second to look.
Sure.
If we do.
If we do, it'd be the 4th.
Yeah, that's Thursday.
No, there is no meeting on the 1st,
Okay.
but there will be no meeting on October 4th, but there will be a meeting on October 18th.
Right. Thank you.
And the cancellation notice will be posted today.
But there is a lock on the 4th, right? But there is airport land use on the 4th.
Yes.
You need to get this together, Victoria. We need to get this together. Okay. I'll do it.
No, I vote for that.
Sorry, Chair.
It should be a lot easier.
Yeah, I'll look for you guys.
Okay. Since we don't have minutes, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
I'll second if we're ready. Oh, go ahead.
Excuse me a second.
You.
All opposed, duck.
I think you may have set a record.
Well, I don't think I set the record. I think the case was really short. Huh?